Okay, it's going.
Great.
Oh, great.
All right, so let's talk about what's basically happened on this stream. This was a total shit show. Stride, do you want to start basically what your kind of assessment was overall of the stream of the old Sargonius?
Well, Sargonius did a wonderful job of making himself look very, very intelligent. Um, he didn't do a very good job. I was expecting him to like really bring it, and he did not bring it. And
Uh,
I thought I personally thought the highlight of it was when Baked Alaska and Worski came in and started screaming at him about how he was destroying about how he was ruining the actual debate. But
Yeah, Baked was like really heated about Sargon basically just sidestepping him. And I mean, really what we're seeing with Sargon is his lack of chops. The guy essentially thinks he knows about history. He said on record, "I'm an expert in the Russian Revolution." Okay, and the guy, he does. If you don't know about the Russian Revolution, I mean, and its ethnic background, and frankly, the Jewish involvement in the Russian Revolution, that you don't actually know the Russian Revolution. He has clearly not read 200 Years Together by Alexander Solzhenitsyn. He has not read any of these works, and it's really impossible for him to say this stuff with a straight face to anyone that knows the history of the Russian Revolution, anyone that knows anything about it. It's frankly laughable. Him saying he's an expert. It's ridiculous.
yeah, it was. Well, I learned something today from him. I learned that white English people are worse than African Americans in Detroit, and they're going around stabbing it. And they're going around stabbing everybody to death.
Yeah,
Who knew?
I
And they're
mean,
called Chads. I guess that's what the
Chavs, they'll get you.
Chavs.
They'll get you,
Yeah,
bud.
I gotta look into this. I gotta find out who these people are. They sound pretty based.
Yeah, what would have been great is for us to see the crime rate in Britain before mass migration versus post mass migration, and that's all you got to do. That's how we measure. Oh, this fucking chav crime rate. Yeah, maybe they were the ones committing crimes in Britain. The 20, the 100 of them, whatever. In America, we have deaths, mass shootings every day. That means 3 or more bodies from like gang related violence, like all the fucking time. Okay, so the fact that he brings up this chav thing is frankly ridiculous. And anyone who's good at math, it's sad. So Sargon isn't just bad at math, and he's not just bad at he's not just dumb, but he's also bad at history and math. And that's all I really got to say about that.
And another fun fact we learned about Sargon is that he wants to gas the Germans.
No, he was vocal about that. He's like, he said, I fucking hate the Germans. The Germans can go fuck off. And he's like,
yeah, it was like pure. It was pure hatred. I'm like, wow, I wish he had the same feeling, for defending the white race. But whatever.
No, I know it's crazy. It almost seems like he likes Muslims more than he likes Germans, to be honest with you.
Oh my god! Yeah,
well, again,
he really wants to kill those Germans. There's no question about that.
What it comes down to is Sargon being not as. I mean, he's just not as skilled as he thinks he is either. Because essentially, it looks like the only book Sargon has read is Saul Alinsky's Rules for Radicals, and he uses it extremely ham-fisted to the point where everyone's like, "What's going on? This is awkward." Prime example: he called Anglin a cuck on just multiple occasions. He's trying to use our language, and he's like, "Wow, you're not as hard as you think you are, as I thought you were. You're not trying to just round up everybody who slightly disagrees with you and shoot them in the head. You must be a cuckold." It's like, nah, dude, like your ham-fisted attempt to use our rhetoric is hilarious. Here's the thing, Sargon, we are Alinsky proof. We're immunized to it because we destroyed the left. You're welcome. You're welcome for the way we treated the SJWs and our rising tide of right-wing ideology. You're welcome, Sargon.
Yeah, and I have to give credit to Anglin because now that's going to be a new thing. Sargon Sargon. He.
I mean, yeah, that was amazing.
That was a good one.
It wouldn't be Anglin without Memory, and he fit them all in pretty neatly. I mean, Baked Alaska, he's a good white boy from Alaska, so like, he was trying to like shove them memes in like real hard, dude, like really trying to like wedge them in with a crowbar. But Anglin was just, he was butter smooth, just inserting those memes. Like he was going, what else? He went with the Sargon, but he did a few others. Do you recall any others? There's a few. I'll have to think about it.
Well, you know what it was?
It was so good.
Well, you know what it is with debates? A debate is kind of like an athletic competition. You know how like it is a competition, and right off the bat, the person Sargon gave up right away. He's like, I don't want to debate, and he came across as very passive, like he didn't want to do it. Now imagine you're going to go into the ring to box somebody in a boxing ring.
Perfect
and the fight,
analogy.
Yeah, was it a bad analogy?
No, I said perfect. Sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead.
Oh, okay, yeah, but like if somebody, like you could tell right away if somebody doesn't want to fight and you're gonna win. Like he basically gave up right away, which gave Anglin a lot of confidence just to feel comfortable. Because I'm sure Anglin before that was all pumped up. He was thinking about it the whole week. Like, all right, I'm going to debate this guy. I don't know. He's going to come at me with all this gotcha questions, and right off the bat, the guy was just he came off like a real I think it made Anglin very comfortable, knowing that this guy is not going to be any competition for me. Like,
well, Anglin comes just like we sorry to step on you here, but just like we spoke about, Anglin comes from a hard knock environment. He even admitted as much on the stream, and what you have to realize is that the guy who backs down, who doesn't want to fight, loses. I don't care how big he is. If he doesn't want to fight, he's gonna lose. I've seen it. I've seen it my whole life. And coming from my environment, I've seen a lot of fights. And the guy who, I don't care what he looks like, the guy who's timid loses. And like Sargon wanted to come in with like Freudian analysis, which was so hilarious that Anglin immediately called him out. He's like, you're trying to be like a Freudian analysis me, and it just like threw a huge wrench in his plan. He does not know what he's walking up against. Our entire existence as an online intellectual movement has been just battling on every platform you could think of. So if he thinks he's going to come at us,
that's all we do.
we do it for fun.
The only thing that was on my mind when I'm listening to Sargon is what are you here for? What is the point of your being here?
Well, you know what he wanted to know? He wanted to know what he was doing in the Philippines, living in the jungle, right? That was actually pretty interesting. I learned that Anglin lived in the jungle for like with natives for like a year. It was pretty interesting.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. Apparently, it was on a hit piece written by him by The Atlantic. But yeah, that's what Sargon said he was on there for. Was he wanted to expand on the idea that Anglin was wearing like a loincloth and like living in some tribe in the Philippines.
I know. It's like, oh wow, Sargon. So you mean that Anglin has been exposed to far more diversity than you have, clearly, and he comes to this conclusion. Strange how that works, Sargon. Weird.
Yeah. I mean, I don't look at Anglin like there's anything wrong with him for having some sort of spiritual experience in the jungle with a bunch of tribal Filipinos. When I was younger,
I've traveled to a bunch of different places, and I've done a lot of different things. Like, what does that change? It actually just gives us more of a outlook on this diversity question, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm jealous that he actually had the money to travel. My family didn't have any money, so like, and I never was making enough money so I could just like leave the country and go traveling and shit, So I'm jealous.
Yeah, I haven't been to as many locales as Anglin, and definitely not as many exotic locales. Most of the places I have been are white, but Anglin, yeah, like like what? Nice point, Sargon. You haven't left your cloistered existence of D&D and being a cuckold, essentially. And Anglin.
Well, that's the question. Is that a rumor? Is that a rumor that he plays Dungeons and Dragons, or is that confirmed?
No, that's confirmed. I don't see the problem in that. because that's like the Romanian. I'll toss him one bone. This is all I'm going to toss him. That he was right. It is a white hobby when he said that. That was funny. I thought that was interesting, but it is a white hobby. But Sargon, don't come telling me you're starting a political intellectual movement when you have 4 hours at night to play Dungeons and Dragons with a Romanian. I just don't. Again, it's a white hobby. I would love to actually set up a game with all right people. You could do cool themes. Very nerdy, very Bugman. I know. But again, don't tell us that you are a serious political person and like you don't have the time. They're beneath me. They're not important. And you play 4 hours of D&D a night. Go fuck yourself.
Absolutely.
No, I would say anybody who is going to head a political movement or do anything actually like or at least attempt to do something that's world changing, you are going to have to get rid of games and distractions and like focus on that only. I just don't really know very many people who play Dungeons and Dragons religiously that have succeeded really in any aspect of anything.
I disagree.
I don't know, man. I don't see it. It's like people who like have little like dolls of like sports athletes and wrestlers.
That stuff is great, right? Like I like entertainment, but the fact is we live in such an entertaining time politically and like intellectually that it's time to grow up. Like I did all that stuff and I still think it's fun, but I don't like I between struggling to stay alive and being involved in politics to the level that I am, it just to my level, which isn't anything really to speak of comparatively. And he has time to play 4 hours. I don't have time to play 4 hours of Dungeons and Dragons, right? I mean, I wish I had that luxury. Like these are fun hobbies, but it's time to grow up. Your country's being invaded by Muslim savages. What are you doing?
No, yeah, exactly. I don't think that like the situation that we're facing right now is extremely serious and extremely grim. And we really have to be dedicated and do something. And we have to. It's kind of your duty, if anything, even if it just means getting it out there in the public sphere or debating or discussing. Like, there just is really no time for Dungeons and Dragons, I guess. And that's my opinion. Maybe he's justified, but if you know, the reality is that if that's what he does with his free time, he's going to be outcompeted by somebody who doesn't do that with their free time.
I was going to agree with you right there. Like, there's nothing wrong with indulging in your hobbies, but you have to realize if you're putting yourself out there at the head of this new political movement and you wrote up like a 3rd grade level writing of your political philosophy as someone who enjoys writing, how do you expect anyone to take you seriously? You're also overweight. And I know this sounds like a petty thing, but it's not. Your country will, I predict Europe will face civil war soon. All of Europe is going to become Bosnia. So when that happens, I mean, I don't. What are you going to do, Sargon? You're going to just tell people to respect property rights? I don't know. I don't understand.
If I can get big brain for a moment, your appearance is your ideology. I mean, what else reflects more of your actual de facto principles than your personal appearance? And you know, it shows how disciplined you are. It's a reflection of your virtue or the lack thereof. So fuck fat asses like Sargon.
Well, yeah, exactly. I think that's a good point. I mean, if you're not fit for leadership, if you're not fit to dedicate yourself to like an action, don't step up and volunteer to do it. That's what you know, Medicare or whatever was saying. It was like, dude, don't take yourself seriously because you're not a serious fucking person. You're a guy. Yeah, he's like, you're a guy that just makes videos about like making fun of like blue-haired freaks that run around in the city. Like, you're not a serious person. Like, let it go, dude. He was like, listen, Sargon, if you become serious and you start taking this seriously, you are going to fail and you're going to make an ass out of yourself. And he was just, you know, he's so up in his own ego that he didn't take that advice, obviously. But that's something he needs to realize, that he put himself in a leadership position, but he's not willing to act like a leader.
Not at all. And what you have to realize is that Medicare really hit it on the nose. He has his finger on the pulse of the internet. Really, one thing to note about Medicare is that his detachment from all of things gives him this like weird meta outlook. He's been around for a long time on the internet, looking at a lot of rising people and falling people. And he realistically has assessed what the alt-right is. And he's like, if you're going to come at the alt-right, you better come correct, because these guys, this is all they do. All they do is this. So like they've heard your arguments 5 times before. They've heard better. I've heard better arguments that I've had to refute, frankly.
Well, you know what? Well, even with us, we all fight with each other. You know, I know,
sharpening the fangs.
Yeah, like even you guys. At one point, I used to fight with you guys, and I'm sure you guys used to fight with each other. I'm sure, you know. This is
we just fought the other night.
So
it is true. He does not over exaggerate. Yeah,
we had a heated intellectual debate where he hung up on me, and like
I did spur.
And he didn't know what's important to take away from what I just said.
To be fair,
listen, what's important to take away, Dan doesn't even have to explain himself. What's important to take away is that all we do is battle and sharpen our intellectual fangs, and we sharpen our bodies, frankly.
Absolutely.
So like, you better come correct, dude.
I've learned so much since being a part of this movement. If I was an avatar, my fucking skill level is going through the roof, and it's from all you guys. You know, I pick up from everybody. I debate stuff. Sometimes I lose and I learn. I observe. I realize it's even today. I was like, even today during that debate, I was learning stuff. I don't want to say it out loud because I don't want to make myself look bad, but I was learning stuff. And I'm like, maybe I shouldn't be doing this anymore. You know, like maybe I should go in a different direction.
No, here's the difference. Sorry, I'm stepping on everybody tonight because of my stupid mic delay. Like I hear you stop before you're stopped. Anyways, what I was going to say there, just to supplement your point, is that he doesn't really get the fact that like all we do is debate, like. And like we also, his individualism pales before a collective, because all you did just now was talk about the benefits of a collective, because part of our collective is that we fight amongst each other. We're always picking at each other. We're holding each other to standards. We're trying to like pick each other's arguments apart. We're just scrapping amongst each other. And a lot of the alt-right like gets dismayed at this. I don't. I almost see it as a process of like the cream is rising to the top, even within our own movement, and like our own propensity to always want to fight is driving us to, you could say, intellectual perfection. I don't want to even go that far, but it's just training us, sharpening our fangs constantly. So Sargon, you were debating people that we don't even bother with anymore, because we just view them as a symptom. So you better be ready, my dude. All you did was talk about feminists and play video games. And frankly, you don't know the enemy you have. And your horseshoe theory it's quite obviously failing you, because the other shot, because it's not realistic. We're not like them, Sargon. You don't know who you pick to fight with, buddy.
We're gonna fuck you up.
Yeah, I'll see you in the debate hall.
Sorry, it got a little intense there, but like, my point stands. I got a little RP, got a little intense.
No, it is true. I think there is. I kind of have to disagree a little bit, and then the fact that in the far right we have a predisposition to argue a little too much, because we have a higher capacity for understanding, and we have this like higher level of ideas that are being exchanged within the community. And if you look at like a group like Black Lives Matter or whatever, I doubt that they're having the same level of debate that like we are having, or like white nationalists are having in our circles. And because of that, they get along much better. Right. And so we kind of have to realize that this is a weakness in a way.
I agree with you. Again, it's like, I agree with you to a point, because like any virtue can become a vice. But what I should say is that like, if we keep it tamed in, and the fact that we know that we have this issue, the fact that we're even aware of it, I think that we will keep it under wraps and use it to our benefit to only purify, you could say, our movement. Not even purify, but just like really sharpen our movement to the level of like, I'll just finish 1 second. And what I want to say is that with that, because we know of it, like we're not going to, I don't think we're going to have that issue, the fact that we're even aware of it. I guess that's my point. I just repeated myself, but yeah.
Hey, and on the matter of these leftists getting along, shit, no. Imagine having all these different value systems calculating privilege points, and one guy values homosexuals more than blacks, and another guy values transsexuals more than lesbians. Oh my God! Like, and what does a Micronesian transvestite prostitute who was born in China account for versus a brunette from frickin' Germany? I mean, who's gay, and where do they all rank? They fight about that shit all the time.
Yep.
But it's frickin' gay stuff though, and like it doesn't actually sharpen them for anything.
As someone coming from the left, I would like to say real quick before I stop talking over everybody. As someone coming from the left, I would say that no, they are far more agreeable. Like I used to look at the Bernie pages and stuff, and everybody's just on board together. Like everyone agrees with every meme posted. Where if you look at one of our memes posted now, like there's at least a couple spurgs like, nah, this is false for this reason. And like actually, like there's at least a couple. Even if they're wrong, there's still a couple dissenters. And that's healthy. That's good. Because what that does is that sharpens arguments. You can assess counter arguments that are genuine because they come from the right. You're like, okay, let's look at this. Maybe he's just an idiot. And you can actually even assess your own points that way. And when you see on the left these groups, you don't see that. And what I say that comes from is high T and just personality types that come with being in part of this. And why I left the left.
Well, another aspect is that people of extreme viewpoints have generally been exposed to and have rejected mainstream viewpoints. So while it might be a little crazy coming from Mr., even a hardcore communist is in some ways more intelligent than a frickin' normie Republican or Democrat. But it probably depends on how extreme you're going, like how argumentative people are.
Yeah, let's let Stridex talk for a second. I've been stepping on him.
Well, I before you get in there, I almost want to reach out to these left and these communist people and debate, because they really don't want us to be debating in the public field. They really don't. Like, again, they the far left has openly stated that they don't want our ideas out there in the public and they don't want to debate us. So like, what better way to appreciate that sentiment than offering them a chance to debate us? And so I think it would be really great to get Lou Bratz or something on here for a debate. Maybe.
Oh my God!
Yeah, I'd love to talk to
so awesome.
I come from their sphere. Like, I would love to speak to them.
No, I would love to. I would like to figure out why these people are sick in the head and are just losers. I'd like to figure that out. That would be.
The problem is we have to differentiate between who we can debate with and who is pure power struggle. And guys like Lou Bratz, there's no reconciliation with people like that and his kin. There's only. Yeah. Are you standing strong or are you looking weak with them? And if you try to debate somebody who's all about power, you just look weak.
I would like to say this. You have to, as our friend who doesn't like to name the who, I would like to say that the J left is not who we want to bring on here. We want to bring on the Bernie bro. We want to bring on the white leftists. And there's a lot of these white communists. Trust me. I know that for a fact, because I've met them.
I thought the best. What was he saying, that the SJW is going to come and get us all and kill us all?
He may have a point with that. I
think he's out of his mind. I would hope that would actually come about, so I could finally tell these people how I really feel.
Any leftist that's coming to do that for real is going to be like a classical leftist who we don't have that right now. I could see maybe that forming at some point amongst the left, but because of what the left is currently, and a big reason of why I departed the far left is
the jackboots are coming.
It's because of their infiltration of liberalism within their own movement.
Yeah.
Liberalism is cancer. It destroys anything it touches.
Yeah, but what was he like? He was making it actually sound like these people were gonna come and round us up and kill us all, like as like these social justice war, like these fucking left wing freaks of nature. Like,
hey man, he has I don't know. He kind of has somewhat of a point. I mean, look, these people are able to, you know, organize on a massive scale. And apparently they can riot in the streets and throw stuff and break stuff. And it's like not a big deal. I mean, but if, like us, like if people like us organize, it's the end of the fucking world. And so I think we have to like we have to understand that they are a threat because they can organize in such a way and be violent with almost no repercussions. And like most of the people that oppose these freaks like aren't willing to like do anything. They just would rather like hide away or like leave the city or whatever. And let the city get trashed.
Yeah. Well, we have to understand what these people is that they are the foot soldiers of the current establishment. Whether they know it or not is irrelevant. They serve the capitalistic J establishment, which is like a neoliberal regime. It's totalitarianism from the capitalistic J standpoint, if you want to get real spurgy with it.
Well, I'd like to say that I don't think that the capitalists of America are actually capitalists. I think they are capitalists because it profits them, and they're just trying to get rich quicker. And the best way to get rich is become a plutocrat in a almost communist-like system.
Yeah, when we start talking about capitalism, I think some people imagine in their minds like anarcho-capitalism, and other people imagine in their minds the current establishment. So we got to be careful about making sure everyone's on the same page about which capitalism we're talking about.
The capitalism.
I'm not
Go ahead.
Sorry. 100% sure which capitalism you all are even talking about.
Well, here's the thing. That's what I wanted to just supplement your point with. That we are at end stage We're at the end stage of liberalism, basically. Because the founders of the United States, as brave as they were, they wanted a white ethno-state, and that's amazing, and it was great. But because of some of the holes in their system and later different policies that were made, as like letting in Eastern European immigrants in the early 1900s and various things to this matter, this became a end stage capitalism, and we see what has come of it. So when Sargon talks of liberalism,
at the time
we're living in it, Sargon. We're just at like the end stage of it. It's on its last leg, bud.
Yeah, at the time when the founders built the country, it was kind of peak enlightenment. And so that was, were they more traditional than we are now? And were they more ethnically minded than we are now? Yeah. But were they really like traditional in the Evola sense? Not really.
And like, here's the thing: you require historical context to these founders and these liberals that he thinks are so like amazing. And like I respected these men for who they are. And honestly, maybe if I was in that time period, because of the way I am, I might have been one of them. But the fact is, these men, when they wrote those things, whether it was Thomas Paine or Hobbes or Patrick Henry, when he had he gathered all the guns together to commit violence against his oppressor, by the way, Sargon.
Scary. That's scary stuff.
Whoa.
Yeah. No, not saying that again. No, I'm not saying that that's
disavow violence. Don't.
I'm not endorsing
no violence. No violence. No violence. No violence. No violence.
I'm commenting on Sargon holding the alt-right always to this minutia of what if violence occurs in your political change. It's like, Sargon, the people that you hold on a pedestal were willing to take up muskets against these people that were like the same color as them. They even had the same accent.
On my campus. No hate speech on my campus.
So, and on one further point before I'll shut up, the founders, not even the founders, just some of these like liberals who wrote some of these things that he thinks are golden manuscripts. Sargon, they didn't think blacks were humans. Okay, like they were far more like alt-right Nazis than we are, my dude. Like they didn't think blacks were human beings, dude. Okay, they didn't even think they were humans.
They more based than we are. That's for sure. I mean, like no comparison.
Like these guys are more hardline alt-right than anyone that exists currently, dude. Like you don't even understand history.
Huh?
No, I actually got a lot of heat for that because I made a video like discussing Sargon, right? And in that video, I had mentioned that like the founding fathers were, they did not care about, Africans or whatever, Mexicans. And they like quote it. And it's like they're talking as if like I said it or those were my words. I'm just merely we're all just merely pointing out the fact that these people really did not think highly of these other races of people, and when they were writing their literature and talking about like rights and all that stuff, they were not applying it in this like universalist egalitarian sense. Like they were applying it, to be quite honest, to straight white men. Very simple.
Like, again, here's the thing: straight white men, they didn't even see the difference. They didn't even view these other people as like regular human beings. I mean, forget blacks. They didn't even think like Indians were humans, dude. Like they didn't think like Asians were like the same level of human being. So your founders who wrote your liberal manuscript never had any idea that non-whites would even be like party to it. Just so you know.
I mean, that's the way I felt like as a young child, like in kindergarten. I used to view other races like they weren't human, like they were something. I used to view them like there was something. They were just like totally different, right? Like, and I just didn't like them. I used to like dislike them. And as you get older, they tell you that you have to like these people, and you get pulled into the principal's office for saying offensive things, and eventually you just like say, "Oh," and then you hit puberty and you start acting like a degenerate. But
well, if somebody wants to do some psychoanalysis, I'll give you guys something to chew on. I'll give you something to chew on, Sargon, if you want to psychoanalyze somebody. You can pull out Charles Murray's The Bell Curve, and you can look at crime statistics and all that stuff, and you can maybe draw conclusions and on an inductive reasoning basis about the differences in proclivities, and you can measure the hormone levels and look at the anthropological evolution. But here's the thing. Here's how I became a racist from a very young age. It was the smell. It was the smell of niggers.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Hey man, no language like that. I'm dead serious. So no language like that.
Jeez.
No violence, no racial epithets. African Americans, dude. None of that.
Okay. It was the olfactory sensation of African American equals that just totally effed me up with respect to.
I know exactly what you're talking about. It's like
it's
like
instinctive.
Pennies,
it's instinctual.
Like pennies in a jar and like baby powder, right? and a little bit of sweat.
All right, moving on.
So here we go, Sargon. Psychoanalyze this.
Moving on.
Why don't you give me some Freudian analysis?
Obvious racist. Dude, how good was it? No, I'm not gonna like. Don't worry about it. But how good was it when Sargon was just talking about like why he can say just like what, and he's just saying it over and over. Like I was just dying.
Well, I thought what I thought was right off the bat. He showed up like a half hour late, and I'm like, where the hell is this guy? Like
it's Miyamoto Musashi stuff there, man.
He was probably taking care of his wife's son.
No, I think he didn't want to do it, and then I think he just felt like obligated, like he had I think he really didn't want to debate. I think he was very intimidated.
Nope, I think you're giving him too much credit. I think he's a total schlub man child, and just was late and just slept in or just forgot because he smokes weed and just like does nothing with his life.
he had to say his like final words and graces because he was pretty sure that England was gonna go through the computer and execute him in person. Very real. I mean, to the way he sounded like he was going to go up against some sort of like ragtag guerrilla, like extremist. Like,
yeah, the most hilarious part is that Sargon literally thinks that like the Daily Stormer is completely just literal. There's no sarcasm. There's literally no humor in it. It's just like literal. That's so fun. That's the funniest takeaway.
Well, that's the academic or scholastic process of exegesis, is basically analysis of texts, academic or scholastic way of looking at things. And so if an academic analyzed the Daily Stormer for its logical foundations, it would sound a lot like Sargon of Akkad.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, he did show up really late, so it threw off the whole vibe of the thing. I thought it wasn't going to happen. I'm like, all right, something's going on because all you can see in the thing that says baked, waiting for baked Alaska, and I'm like, all right, it's like 20 minutes. I'm waiting. What's going on? Is this even going to happen? And I just I don't know. But then he showed up late, and then he just seemed like he was very disinterested and didn't want to be there, and it just seemed. Maybe he was making pretend he didn't really want to do it because he was scared. But I don't know. There was something very cowardly about him today, and it just made it worse for him. If he just would have fought and just sounded like a fool, like Tyreek Nasheed or whatever, that would have been fine. But you know, he just it was bad. It was bad. He took a beating. He took a real beating. I don't think anybody liked him after that. I think we're all gonna. I think this movement just became that more popular today. So all the leftists listening to this and all that right now, we just became even more popular today from this debate that we're talking about. I highly recommend you guys watch it, and it's really great. We're coming to a theater near you.
Well, I mean, again, Anglin called it as usual. That this is the year of blood sports. It's coming. Here we go.
Yep.
Disavow.
We're gonna. I just can't wait till all these leftists on here when we just start popping up everywhere. We're gonna be
blood sports is real.
No, I want to get some leftists. I'm dead serious. I want to get some leftists on here. That would be.
I have a few lines on a few leftists.
Okay. You know how many messages I have gotten from people who have been like asking me to like do an interview with them. Like, I bet I could reach out to them and like.
Let's do it.
Yeah, I bet I could. That would be interesting.
Well, maybe not tonight. I mean, you want to do that tonight? You want to do? It's up to you.
This is our first establishment. So the people that want to like start listening to us can just like understand what like we're about. I think we should just kind of like work together on this first podcast.
Well,
whatever.
I saw a I just sent somebody a link. He wanted to debate me. I hope he gets on here.
4-on-1. Like, I'll have to shut up. I'll have to mute.
No, he's an intellectual genius. He could probably like make us all look stupid. Not gonna lie.
Okay.
Like, this guy is a genius. I mean, I hope he does the webcam too. That'll be even better because like he's so good looking. He's so good looking that like he's gonna kill us with his looks and his rhetorical skill.
Okay, I can't wait.
And his nose ring.
Is this the libertarian?
Yeah, this is a libertarian. I sent you that video, man.
Of course, I knew it.
I have to admit, I do feel inferior when I'm around leftists. Guy.
He's a great looking. I don't know if I'm gonna even say go away. He's a great looking guy.
Yeah, he's handsome.
Sargon could also psychoanalyze my jealousy.
Sargon should fucking go on Weight Watchers, dude. Sargon should actually just worry about like with the mirror first before he like wants to stop, because like if you can't like stop your caloric intake, I don't respect your math. Like your math sucks. You can't, it's just calories. You suck.
Yeah, they got to put him on that point system, right?
Something. I don't know what's going on.
He
might just need to move around more, frankly. Like I don't know, man. Maybe his diet's fine. He just needs to like move.
No, people get fat from diet. That's a myth. I agree. Look at sumo wrestlers and like linemen in the NFL. Those guys are as fat as a house. And they're in great shape. All they do is work out.
I'm sorry, man. Right. Hey, this guy is gonna come on here. This is the best thing. Yeah. Okay, so before we get him on here, we're gonna have an introduction. I'm gonna post a video of his that he posted on my timeline, just to give you an idea of the quality here.
Can't wait. It's gonna be the best.
Here we go. Here's the post. He just responded. He said yes, he's up for it. Oops, shit.
And what does he want to debate?
I don't know. You have to watch this video. I don't know.
Oh my god.
Okay, I'm gonna post his little. It's on my Facebook. Hopefully you can see it, but it should be like live. Oh wait a minute. I can't. There is no Gen Chat here, so I'll send it to you guys personally.
Is he affiliated with Black Lives Matter?
No, I don't know what he's affiliated with, but it's something else.
Okay.
One second. I will send it to you, Bellino, or Stridex. Not that it matters. Not that it matters.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Okay, so I sent it to you, and then I'm going to send that to Mr. And you already saw it, right, Irons?
Yeah, I have seen it, but just, I mean, feel free to post it again.
This guy's a mess. You sure you really wouldn't bring him on here?
No, I totally want to bring him on here.
Oh man, is this for real? I mean,
no, this guy is for real. Oh wait, I asked him. We're live right now. Let's see what he just saw. Let's see if he responds.
I don't think he's like. I think he's special needs or something, dude.
Oh
it's
no!
Like I'm being serious. This guy. Like,
you might be right.
Yeah, I think there's something wrong with this dude.
Anyway, let's give him a chance. Let's give him a chance.
Oh, he's getting in. He's getting in here. I'm gonna.
This is a white guy with a real African IQ.
All right, guys, just make sure we don't dogpile him. I don't want to do that. Just
I'll stay quiet.
He's gonna dogpile himself.
No, Dan, it's all you.
No, I don't want to do it. No, I don't want to. I'm not that cruel of a person.
You want me to do it?
Dan, you have the floor, Dan. You're gonna deal with this guy.
Okay. Where the hell is the link here? Okay.
Okay, man. Tag me in if you want, but I'll let you handle this.
Yeah, I'm gonna need some help. I might need all three of us. I don't think this guy cares. Like, to be honest, like.
Well, let's just keep it. Let's not all talk at the same time, Adam. That's all I'm saying. Like, let's go one at a time.
We'll probably be too busy laughing to talk all at once.
Are you really? Oh shit. Can you attach the link to what you're watching again? I don't think you're broadcasting it. I'm not seeing it.
Here we go. Big Red. Okay, so let me go. Damn, this guy's like 30 years old. How has he made it this far in life?
Dude, why don't we just call this blood sports? No one actually calls their things blood sports.
Well, let's not
violence.
Yeah, exactly, dude.
No,
like
that's
pretty
triggering. Internet, you could put internet blood sports. That's what this is like the meme of. I'm not really mean blood. Like that's what the meme is, dude.
What about like gay orgy?
No, that's a good one, dude. That's a great one.
No, it's not.
All guys late at night on Saturday night. You know, hell yeah.
I don't even want to joke about this.
He's like, no, it's not. It's a bad idea.
I know you're.
Hey, hold on. Hey, we got a guest here.
Hey, hold up.
Hey, what's going on?
I'm Robert Fairchild. Looks like who all is here? I know Dave's here. Who's
Dan,
everyone?
The name's Dan.
Dan. Oh, hey, sorry, Dan.
I'm Mister. Hi.
I'm Mister.
Irons reporting in.
Stridex, hello.
You can call me Irons or Pat. Either one works.
Don't worry, we're not going to gang up on you. So, what was you were messaging me? You seemed to like wanted to debate or have an issue with me or something.
I wanted to debate you, but so sounds like this is going to be a group talk debate deal.
No, we actually really honestly discussed it before you got here because it's just you coming to talk, and a lot of us, as you probably would guess, share a lot of the similar ideology. So we didn't want to dogpile you. So we'll probably just have questions from each of us and give you a chance to respond without any of us interrupting that. You know what I mean? Because there's three of us or four of us and one of you. So it's not, it's just going to be a shit show.
So, give me your questions.
No. You came here. You were supposed to one with the questions.
Probably start, and we'll kind of just flow from there because we don't really know where you stand yet.
Hey, you're the one who reached out to me, man. You're the one who messaged me and was like, "I want to debate you," and you have an issue with whatever. So I don't have any questions for you.
Okay. So anyways, so what's is the status with your controversy, Dan?
What do you mean? What do you mean? What is the status of my controversy?
Current status. I know you said you weren't going to be kicked out of the university, but the how long you think Antifa is going to hound you?
Well, those people have been harassing me and stalking me for over a year now. So I don't know when they're going to stop. That's a question for them.
Yeah, I mean, sorry to interrupt, but your question I can help answer along with Dan. So, we on the alt-right, we are stalked, harassed, and our lives are attempted to be destroyed by the Antifa hordes. And I mean, I'm not saying that civic nationalists don't get some of this, but they do not get it to the level that we do. And I would argue that is frankly because of because of what we're saying it actually matters, and actually is, I mean, like you could say, revolutionary in spirit.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, I'm a libertarian in the Omaha metro area. I currently live in the Council Bluffs, and I only had been called out from Antifa twice, and both of them, the post was basically poking fun me. So they haven't really bugged me, as mentioned. You guys, you've been seeing about worse.
Oh well, hold on 1 second. So you're telling me that Antifa has done something to you?
No, they're more like slander on my like. I protested against the Women's March, and they were saying I said feminist was evil when I actually wasn't saying that. And every time the Democrats say this is what democracy look like, I respond, "This is a constitutional republic, not democracy."
That is technically true.
That is true.
And I argue that it's not just technically true, it's true. And what I also argue is that the reason they like first off, I'll say it, feminism is evil in all its forms. Most evil to women out of anyone else. And I will say that like the reason you only get attacked when you talk about their leftist talking points is because they just mistake you for one of us, frankly. I don't want to be like that big-headed about this, but they probably called you a Nazi and alt-right, I would assume.
Well, to be honest, I think it's shocking that Antifa was it the Nebraska Antifa?
Yeah, the Nebraska Antifa made a tweeted about me twice in the first time on November 4th when I went to Memorial Park expecting to be a protest, but there wasn't. It was so small, I'm mistaking them for a jogging group.
Yeah, I would say I think that's pretty terrible. I am pretty disappointed. I'm pretty ashamed that Antifa would do something like that. I mean, that's
jogging group. I'm sorry, I can't hold it in.
No, that's pretty.
Yeah.
No. Stop, irons. No, I'm serious. This kind of makes me a little sad that Antifa would pick on somebody like you. I mean, that's pretty low. I mean, I thought Antifa was better than that. I mean, that's just shameful behavior. You know what I mean?
They obviously have go ahead, bud.
Antifa tweeted my video, a link to my video out where I put on Facebook, and a lot of people on the left actually gave a lot of horrible, ugly comments. There was only one comment I actually deleted, and that said, "Oh, all his friends were dead." But anyways, there was only one gal out of so many comments was willing to tell their friends to stop. But anyways, it was pretty not bad, but it was kind of like, what the heck? I did get 45,000 views for the November 4th protest. But I basically just took a victory lap in Memorial Park, more like a big walk.
So here's the thing. Sorry to step on you there, Dan. You came in here and you said you had issues with the alt-right per se. I know you're libertarian. To me, that doesn't divorce yourself from ethno nationalism. So what say you, friend, about the alt-right?
So I am a libertarian, so I believe in liberty, the free market system, and liberty overall. I'm against your former question with you guys think identity should be
You're breaking up a bit, bud. Can you try to get a little better service there, or maybe turn off the camera and then just do audio? Either one might work.
Well, no, don't do that. Don't do that. I think it's important that whoever's watching right now see, who Antifa likes to pick on. I mean, this is sad. I mean, this is terrible. I can't believe they would actually do something like this, man.
I can't believe just for wanting to just express yourself on social media that anyone of any stripe from any social standing that they would just come to pick on you simply because of just a couple of words you believe in, right? And I'm not saying that's a little thing, and I respect your beliefs, but it's pretty insane, wouldn't you say, friend?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy what Antifa's willing to do in the name of progress, but with the really backward progress.
I mean, they really pick on some of the most vulnerable among us, wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, they will pick on anyone who disagrees with them. They haven't gone after me, but they haven't. I did see one of, Antifa. I haven't really dealt with them, and I mainly have dealt with the people who support them, like Democrat Socialists.
Sure. I mean, there's not a huge difference there, though. I mean, one's just younger and the other's a little older, and they can't go out with a face mask. That's the only difference.
Well, no, and I think they do. They purposefully, I think Antifa likes to pick on the downtrodden and the underprivileged. I think you don't happen to be a very wealthy person, do you, Bobby?
No, I'm just probably as poor or poorer than you guys, but anyways,
no, I'm not trying to make. I understand that.
We're not trying to make this. Go ahead, Dan.
I'm not trying to say that I don't have any. Whether or not you have $1 million or $10 in your pocket, I am not going to look down on you. I'm not. As long as you're willing to work hard and that's all that I could ever ask for. But Antifa doesn't seem to think like that. They seem to be willing to, pick on people of lower, the lower class people. I think that's kind of disappointing. I'm kind of sad.
And from the alt-right perspective, we would say it's simply because you're white. Frankly, I mean, but looking at the video, you're obviously white.
So. Yeah, but Antifa have seen me. I have actually one time during last year, March 25th, there was a protest Trump supporters were having on a rally for democracy. I was going to hold I was going to kind of protest the Democrats for constitutional government, but they'll change their protest to a different weekend. I didn't find out until I get downtown at Turner Park in Omaha. So I race over to downtown Omaha, see the Trump protests, and this is when I still had issue with Trump Muslims ban, because I'm living more for a open borders Ellis Island approach, and so I was protesting Trump supporters, and then a bunch of other people on the left came to protest peacefully, and then there was a group of me and a bunch of leftists on this hill on the sidewalk. Antifa comes up the hill. I walk right into between Antifa and Trump supporters, and Antifa kind of just staring at me, and all they did is blow a horn. And then the Omaha cops had the bright idea to push violent Antifa into previous peaceful protesters.
So, Bobby, I'd like to ask you a couple questions. So, are you employed right now? Not to get too doxy, and I understand if you don't want to answer any of these. Just let me know.
I do work for a local company, but
okay. Do you live on your own, Bobby? You don't have to tell me who you live with, but do you live on your own?
Oh, I do live with roommates. So.
Okay. And so basically, you are the lower rung economically of society, and I will tell you right now, I know at least two for a fact, myself and another person on this podcast other than you come from a lower rung economically in society. So what I would like to point out is that these supposed, champions of the proletariat like to pick on the most downtrodden amongst us. And they're not picking on you because you're downtrodden, and they're not picking on you because you're not downtrodden. They're picking on you, frankly, because you're white. And they don't give a shit about anything they actually talk about.
I don't know. I disagree. I think they're picking on him because he's downtrodden, because he's an easy target for them. I think that
sure,
I know.
yeah.
I think the Antifa. I think they're hypocrites. I don't think they care for lower class people as much as they do. They're not understanding. At the very least, they're not willing to hear them out. They just have no qualms with picking on somebody from a lower class background, and frankly, that's pretty shameful of them. That's
a good point, Dan.
Yeah, they should really. They should contemplate that. By the way, Bobby, if you ever get attacked by Antifa again, or they post anything about you on Facebook, make sure to publicize it and put it out there, because don't let them pick on the lower class people.
And Bobby boy, we'll have you on again if it happens again. Not saying hopefully it doesn't. But if anything happens again, we'd like to have you back on. So getting away from personal lives and getting to know each other, would you like to kind of talk about what your beef is per se with the alt-right?
Oh, my beef is with the alt-right you guys are mainly national socialists and fascists, and I'm a libertarian. You can see we're mainly for like a closed border system. You guys are for protectionism on the economy. So you want U.S. companies to be protected from Chinese companies, and basically you want Trump to put tariffs on other governments to make it harder for companies and foreign countries to compete with us. I say, let's don't dump the rocks in our ports. Let the foreign governments do that to their ports, so we can benefit from free trade, and they'll lose out on free trade.
Okay. So, but as far as immigration, now these economic concerns. First off, Bobby, I'll tell you that amongst the alt-right, I think that you have a misconception of who we are. Like, I'll tell you frankly, I'm a National Socialist. I know Dan is. The other two in the call, they can speak for themselves. I think they lean a lot they agree with a lot of us on a lot of things. I would say that you kind of don't understand that most of the alt-right comes from libertarian circles, and a lot. I would even go as far to say over 50%. So with that being said, I think in an all-white ethno state, which is what really is our prime directive, economics, the way we discuss it, because a lot of us have heavy disagreements, because a lot of us come from your circles. So what I would like to say is that we amongst ourselves say we will figure it out when we figure immigration out, because everything else doesn't matter if we don't exist. So honestly, again, I think that your conception of us is false, because a lot of us we get in the ethno state and we have our borders and everything's safe and it's great. If we're still alive, a lot of us will start like arguing with each other about these economics, because 50% of us are more libertarian leaning. So I think we kind of have a misconception of who we are.
Okay, so with the current status, in 40 to 50 years, whites will be a minority in the United States. To me, that would be fine. Long we live in a constitutional government, but recognize we have unalienable rights come from our humanity. Okay. I'm not worried about the white man becoming.
Here's where I refer you,
long we have liberty, I'll be great with that.
I'll let you fit. Okay, yes, there you go. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. My mic is delayed. I have to upgrade my mic, as the rest of the stream knows. I want to say that your libertarian principles are admirable, and I agree they definitely work in an all-white state. The issue that I take is that your founding of that flag behind you, the people who first said that, the guy that's my profile picture, frankly, they didn't even think blacks were human, my dude. The guys that first put in are definitely, arguably the most libertarian state that's existed, the very beginning of the foundation of the United States. That's really when you could say the most libertarian, at least existed in reality. And at that point, these people, all that created these ideas are white. And if you look at the countries of non-whites, they vote overwhelmingly left. They vote for socialist orders. They vote for the far left, and gives me that. So when you get rid of the whites, you get rid of libertarianism.
You don't get rid of libertarianism by getting rid of the. But the thing is, Thomas Jefferson and the Republican Democrats, who were the anti-Federalists, knew the Federalists would not recognize our human rights from our humanity. The Federalists believe our rights came from the government. The anti-Federalists.
Yeah, but here's the issue that you come up against. They didn't think blacks were human, dude.
No, not everyone.
They wrote all men are created equal. If you would have told the guy in my picture, Sir Patrick Henry, or if you would have told Thomas Jefferson, or if you would have told George, well, you could go down the list. If you would have told any of the founders that blacks were much less human to them, they were more radical than anyone on the alt-right that you have ever met today. They didn't even think blacks were human beings. So when they talk of these rights for humanity, they don't include those people. They didn't even think they were humans.
Yeah, but today's Libertarian Party, we recognize everyone as human, and all humans came from Africa. All the human race started in the plains of Africa, and humans immigrate towards away from Africa, and immigration is technically is when someone moved to point A to point B.
Parts of Africa have a lot of people and a lot of resources, and not really any government to speak of. Why are they not a libertarian order and very peaceful?
Okay. Which one? It's one of the Congo countries. I think it's the Democratic Congo.
Oh, there's other countries. Liberia, for instance, was founded with a carbon copy of the U.S. Constitution. So Liberia had the exact same constitution that your founders, that you venerate, who created the saying behind you, frankly, they created an idea of Liberia where they took the exact words of the founders, the exact constitution, and gave it to blacks in Africa and said, here, found your country on our principles. And Liberia descended into cannibal warlords.
Can somebody link, Bobby, that documentary from Vice on Liberia?
Vice documentary, when Vice actually did something other than talk to the alt-right.
Somebody please send that to Bobby. I think you'll enjoy it. Also, I think you're going to enjoy the new Black Panther movie that's coming out on the 15th.
Oh yeah,
the people that have ever valued your principles, Bobby, have been white as snow.
The reason why Europe was able to make classical liberalism, was able to colonize the rest of the world, was sheer dumb luck. Honestly.
Oh. Okay, just dumb luck, right? It just so happened that the same genetic stock that created the idea of liberalism in England.
So one quick question for you, Bobby.
Bobby,
hey, can I ask one really quick question?
Yeah.
So there are different breeds of foxes, right? And some foxes have white hair, and some foxes have orange hair, and some even have brown hair. Now, did these foxes develop different colored hair from sheer dumb luck? Or did they develop different colored hair from environment and from environmental influences?
Okay. The reason why white people got white skin, because when our ancestors came from Africa, they all would look like Americans. But since they wanted to gain the vitamin D in their diet, they had to evolutionally mutate to for the bodies can accept more vitamin D from the sun.
That's not true. They interbred with different species too. They interbred with Neanderthal. That's why when you take a genetic test, Bobby, I have a high percentage of Neanderthal DNA, and if you test an African heritage man, he doesn't have any. Why is that? Why do I have another species DNA in me, Bobby?
Yeah, we have two different primal ancestors. Yeah.
Neanderthal DNA. I have a DNA of a species that doesn't exist anymore in mine. So why don't Africans have that? And you think that would make them different?
On the continent of Europe, and going towards the middle of the Russian mountains, the range is called. But otherwise, there was only 50,000 Neanderthals at most at one time. Humans would actually had a bigger population than Neanderthals. Basically, the Neanderthals were outnumbered.
Again, but that doesn't explain why they're not intermingled with black genetics. So, like, why don't Africans have any? So, what that tells me is that we're definitely different, right?
Yeah. No. Humans and Neanderthals have the same amount of chromosomes, so our ancestors were able to mate with them.
But not all of them did.
And since there was so little of them, it got into our DNA chain. So, yeah, everyone has this little Neanderthal in them for some because.
Well, have you heard of the Cro-Magnons? Have you ever heard of them?
No, I have Cro-Magnons. I think I should know them, but I don't know why.
You should know them because they literally are your ancestors.
Yeah, Cro-Magnons are a turning point in the evolutionary chain of human development, and a lot of no African has Cro-Magnon DNA within them unless they've mixed with someone of that descent. So there is we're not all descended from one single ancestor. That is totally false. We have kind of came up from different points of evolution. So that's something that you really have to look at when you're looking at human populations. The reason we know this is because of genetics. The reason Dan and I can say this with such confidence is because we can take your spit and tell who you were or who was related to you like hundreds of years ago. It's easy.
Mm.
But it's something to think about.
But me,
for sure.
Honestly, I'm for everyone to have individual liberty because that's what our founding fathers wanted. The anti-federalists who wanted
again. Your founding
wanted everyone to have liberty,
people. I want to reiterate this.
Wouldn't allow them, and the southern states who were more in favor of the Federalists said, basically told the anti-Federalists, hey, if you don't accept our terms, we're just going to make our own separate country. So there could have been during the Constitutional Convention, there could if things would have been different, there would have been two Americas at the same time. One was for liberty, will be on the anti-Federalist argument. One would have been the Federalist argument, and in United States history could have been completely different. But since they made the bad compromise, 1/5 of a person, sadly, it just put an issue on the table. What just got kicked down for 50 years.
Your founders didn't even think blacks were 1/5. They didn't even think they were human beings. So none of that matters.
Okay, so hey man, we're gonna wrap it up. It's getting late, so yeah, I appreciate you reaching out to me. I am sorry that Antifa has done those things to you. That really makes me sad. I thought they were better people than that.
Antifa hasn't really harassed me as they had harassed you, but it's only a matter of time till they come after me. But I'll be fine with that because I know where I stand and I know what they stand. And I know where you guys stand. So, but
here's what it is, Bobby. Here's what it is, man. They know that I was from the lower class background, and I'm trying to better myself through education and increase, my social class. Basically, I'm trying to go from lower class to middle class, and they are repressing me. They are trying to stop me from getting my education and becoming middle class. So that's something to keep in mind. But hey, man, I appreciate you coming in here. Do you have any? I'll go ahead and give you a last word, and then just go ahead and sign out. Okay.
Okay. So, what was I thinking? Okay. I'm trying to think of what I haven't. But the identity, what you guys are so focused on, in the reality, majority of people do not care about identity. So you guys focus on an ethno state is really bad. And if you guys ever decide to make an ethno state, one individual rebelling to you guys' norms of an ethno state will make it crumble. Because in your ethno state, if one white person decided to have a romantic relationship with someone who's African American, what would you do to that person for having that relationship?
All right.
Okay, that's a good statement. Yeah, that's a good question. That's a good hypothetical. So, all right, man, you have a good night, okay, Bobby?
Good night,
all right, Bobby boy.
Good night.
Thanks for coming on, buddy.
Okay, guys. All right. So, all right. It's getting late, and the woman that I love wants to talk to me. Honestly, I'm kind of still sad. I'm a little sad that Antifa would mistreat that poor soul. That
Sargon. That liberalist was really mistreated.
Antifa, I hope you're listening right now, and I hope you feel ashamed of yourself.
You should.
I am so ashamed.
Amen.
Okay, guys. Do you want me to leave? I can leave the stream on. I can just mute my mic and leave the stream on.
That's all right, Go. We can shut it down. I think we've had a good intro stream to the personality.
Shut it down. Shut it down.
Okay, man. Hell yeah. This was fun. Hopefully, I'm going to reach out and get some more people on here and we can have a good time, I think.
I've got some interviews coming up. So
absolutely.
We're going to have some interviews with some European nationalists coming up to get a perspective on German nationalism and various other European countries. Our first guest will be a Flemish nationalist from Belgium, and it's going to be good. So stay tuned.
Awesome. Yeah. And I also want to get some people we don't agree with on here. That's what I want. I want to have an open debate. Free speech, brother. You believe in free speech, brother?
Don't tread on me.
Don't tread on me, brother.
Don't tread on me. Sorry.
No, don't do that. So okay, anyway. Okay, so all right, guys. It's been fun. I'm sure we'll see each other at the bar tomorrow. Okay, guys?
All righty.
See you there, guys. Take it easy.
Later.
Good night.
Stay